Good afternoon. My name is Marcos Lopez, and thank you for tuning in on my pitch public speaking for Stanbridge University, Communication 1050. Hi, my name is Marcos, and today I will be showing you my pitch with the emphasis on a clinical data to courtroom testimony. I'm a nursing student at Stanbridge University. I'm savvy and experienced in clinical documentation for neuro and psychology, and I am the founder of New Type Notary, here located in Mission Viejo, California. Three main points that I'll be hitting on is neurology RN, essentially registered nursing, psychological docs, and notary. So I am building toward neurology and TBI expert testimony to be a retained expert for personal injury attorneys. TBI stands for traumatic brain injury. As I mentioned to you earlier, my name is Marcos, and I am completing my nursing academic coursework career at Stanbridge University in Irvine. And my RN licensing is focusing on building a concrete foundation for a longer life journey that I have planned ahead. It's going to be neurology focused, nursing, becoming a consulting and retained expert for personal injury attorneys and for witnesses to do depositions and lobby for clients that have suffered from TBIs and are not getting the care or the compensation that they require due to life-altering trauma or accidents that have happened to them. I'm not approaching nursing as a single destination. As I mentioned, it's a strong foundation that I'm building out of concrete. It's a deliberate step in my plan that I've already have begun since post-COVID. So this plan has been in the making since 2020. So right now, my RN is in progress at Stanbridge University Irvine, clinical documentation for neuropsych and psychoeducational reports that I'm experienced and professional in, and as a business founder for New Type Notary in Mission Viejo. The next three sections that you will see what has already been underway. Here I am translating data into decisions that may require diagnosis or diagnosis of certain behaviors. For 3 years, I've worked under a licensed neuropsychologist and neuropsychological and psychological educational evaluation and turning raw testing data into documents clinicians, families, and schools and the clients can view to understand their neuro complications or diagnosis or psych behaviors that they've been experiencing. Here you see illustrated the WISC, Wyatt, Basque, WAYS, the WIPSI, BRIEF, CPT, ADHD, BRIEF 2, and RAVALT. These are all essential assessments and documentations that I administer to clients to put data together for the neuropsychologist to review. And during this questionnaire and assessments, I am notating my observations and asking questions to the client of how they're processing information or what they may think or what they recall from their accident. So think of it as I sit at the intersection of clinical precision and human consultation with communication, making dense data legible to people who need it, whether they are supervising the psychologist or a parent asking to understand how their child is challenging and complicating and how to navigate those challenges and problems that their child is experiencing. And the report types that I do are neuropsych evaluations, psychological, educational assessments reports, family-facing summary reports, personal injury and pediatric note-taking and contacts for attorneys, and we also include IEP and 504 plans for students to get accommodations or adults if they're returning to college. So I built something from nothing. I founded a new type notary working as a fixed location in Mission Viejo, commissioning, bonding, and business infrastructure. I did start out as a side hustle for me, but I've slowly began incorporating it more into my daily work habits. And this also presents my discipline and my willingness to strive and progress myself with new skills. You know, for this notary course, I did a 6-hour course and a state exam. I did a live scan and an oath bond. I started the business, a side kit that I built, and I have a long-term growth plan mapped out that I still want to continue to do this as another source of income for me. The discipline sequencing a plan and executing it over the years, not weeks, is the same discipline behind my path to neurology nursing expert witness work. Basically, the long game is notary work, active income today, combined with my executive assistant, still income today. Nursing staffing agency would be my equity building, and neurology and nursing will be my clinical foundation that I will focus and over the time become a neuro nurse expert. In the end, I want to be a nurse practitioner with an emphasis in neurology and a TBI expert witness consulting, which is about 5 to 7 years out. So the science underneath it all, my coursework at Stanbridge is laying down the scientific groundwork for the neurology and TBI work ahead. Not preparation, abstract, but the specific future expert. And to be an expert for personal attorneys and for personal injury assistant attorneys, and helping those in need that have suffered from TBIs. At Stanbridge, I'm doing biology, anatomy, and physiology. As I progress in my core, I'll get involved with pharmacology, neuroscience, cell biology, the histology, genetics, karyotypes, and right now, currently, I'm honing my skills in on public speaking, which I'm so petrified about, but I still bring myself to do it. So with 3 disciplines and 1 direction, the 3 disciplines include a clinical documentation, a notary entrepreneurship, and a nursing coursework. My clinical documentation sharpens how I translate complex medical, psychological data information into something understandable and usable, and not as with complex jargon for the normal person to understand. My notary puts out that I have an entrepreneur mindset, and I have the ability to build and execute a course of action without losing the sight of the end plan, and making sure that my decisions are decided in confidence. My nursing coursework at Stanbridge lays a scientific foundation for neurology, and a TBI consulting will stand on. Of course, after nursing school, I will continue my studies and continuing reading statistics and clinical documents to be on top of new findings or other findings that may not be be usable anymore in the court of law. This is a thread running through everything I do. A separate pursuits, but one plan executed on 3 fronts at once. So I've already practiced the hardest part. You know, I'm not asking to be considered because I have a nursing degree in progress. I'm asking to be considered because I already work fluently at the level that I am with clinical data, human communication, and disciplined execution. And over the years, proving I can build toward a long-range goal without shortcuts. Because nothing in this life comes easy, it all takes you to do the hard work, to do the hard things. By the time I'm explaining a brain injury to a person who needs to understand it, or in a courtroom, a consulting room, I won't be learning that skill for the first time. However, because I've been practicing that skill under the neuropsychologist and learning from him, and practicing that skill in my free time, making sure that I am credible, I have integrity, and I am confident in my depositions and in my choices that I make as a nurse and when I become a nurse practitioner. Thank you for tuning in. This is my pitch on why you should choose me to be your next associate for your organization. Again, my name is Marcos. Thank you.